So here we go. It's a lovely day here in Turku. It's a little bit damp. Um, it's warm. It's damp. It's basically a lovely day to do some paintings. And today we're gonna paint a single piece. One piece. The one piece is real. Let me take my hat off because it's kind of warm inside. Today we will create a painting. I'm not sure what it's gonna look like or what it will be, but that's the beauty of it. And if you're here, if you're enjoying the stream, please suggest what you would like to see on the canvas. All suggestions of all shapes and sizes are welcome. But I'm probably gonna just start by priming this with one color or multiple colors. And priming is really not the right word to use, but to put something on the canvas, some color schemes and stuff like that. And we'll start with, I'm quite inspired by the basketball game yesterday where Finland played against Serbia, and to everybody's surprise, which is kind of harsh to say, but to everybody's surprise, Finland won the game. So maybe I'll go with something blue in the background. I haven't, by the way, even checked if people can hear me. I don't know if I can hear myself, so let me actually put on sound here for just a second to hear if I can hear myself. All right, it looks like I'm a little bit my computer seems to have gotten stuck for a little bit. Let's see what's going to happen with that. Well, my computer isn't stuck, it's the web browser. So can I hear myself? Let's check this out. Please, oh yeah, I can hear myself. That's great. So the sound is working. Let me take a bigger brush. I won't be making with a small brush like that. So if you have any suggestions what I should, what I could, what I would paint, please tell me. Oh, this is very put some matte medium here so we can actually have some fluency with our paints. They become way more fluent with, or way more fluid with a little bit of matte medium. Water is nice, but water doesn't really, it doesn't add fluidity. It like only makes the paints watered down. Go figure. If you are painters yourself and you start having pains in your wrist when you paint, I would recommend holding the brush like this instead of this, because this is really strenuous for your wrist. But this is like a really natural motion. So that's something on the canvas. It's not much, but it's something. This is not really a Bob Ross painting. What I'm really thinking, what could we paint here? And I'm a little bit unaware right now. So I genuinely don't have any idea what I should draw. So let's take these tinted charcoals. I got these from a place of a lot of significance, a lot of cultural significance. So I just make a central line and another central line, just to get rid of the fear of the empty canvas. Now, the fear of the empty canvas hasn't really dissipated, so let's do more lines. Let's divide this into 3 parts. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And let's divide it into 3 parts in this direction as well. And why are we doing this? Now there's 1, 2, 3. Now why are we doing this? Good question. It's because our eyes naturally focus on these 4 parts when it comes to any sort of piece of art or any sort of visual medium. So let's start with that. I often use this method of dividing it into 6 different portions, and then I just think about what I could draw there. I'm feeling like I could put an eye here. I've seen a lot of like YouTube or Instagram reels where people sort of tell how to draw eyes, and oftentimes they are quite I would call them I feel like they hurt the artist more than they help. Do I like that? That is a good question. Let's go with it. Even if I don't like it, let's go with it. This might turn into something very nice. After which there should be a nose. But do we want a nose there, or should this eye just be a standalone feature? I don't know. And yet again, I'm holding the pen in a what a lot of people might feel like is unintuitive, holding it like this. But this is, if you use your hands a lot for drawing or stuff like that, it is not that strenuous for your now I'm starting to make a nose here, but it's not as strenuous for your hand. Do I like that? That is a good question. I'll go with it, even if I don't. Maybe there's a nose there. What's that? I'm not sure. Still continuing this piece, even though I'm not sure if I like it or not. That eye is enormous and this nose is very small. The nose should be like here or something. Am I thinking weird things? I mean, the proportions in art, they don't really matter. They don't really matter at all. Unless you're going for realism, then they obviously matter a lot. But if realism isn't something that you really care about, then who really cares? This is becoming like a face, and I'm not sure if I like it. I think the composition right now is quite strange. So if there was an ear, it would be somewhere around here. The eye is just huge. Maybe I'll cut it off. Maybe I'll cut the eye off and yeah, that's what I'll do. this hurts your ears, I'm sorry. In all honesty, I'm not sorry, but I am sorry. So that's a place to start with. I should get a putty eraser, but for now I only have this, like a real eraser, but I prefer putty erasers. And if you, but putty erasers they look like blue tack, even though they are. Oh, I like that now. I think that looks kind of interesting. So then there's that, and now the next thing that we want is to make the composition look like it has some grounds somewhere. We would want there to be something in here as well. But at this moment I'm also thinking, like, what do I want to tell? What's the story that I want to tell with this piece? Why does this matter? It's an eye that it's... I'll write it down. I, which is separate. If you have any suggestions, please leave them. It would be nice to get your feedback on what this I means, what you feel like it could mean. Separate eye. So it's something that sees, but only sees, and can't comment on it, and can't hear it. So there is that sort of can't see, can't talk, can't hear, the three monkeys. And that idea got to me from Funky Monkey, which is someone in my close family works there, so that's why I have it. But it also tastes good, so no complaints on the taste side either. Now I do have political views, but I tend not to share them here on YouTube or on my social medias either, because I'm not really a political player myself. I'm trying to sort of avert and not think about what sort of political things happen with eyes. I mean, it's quite difficult, and maybe there could be somebody throwing that, or maybe there's somebody making an art piece with that. Like that could be quite meta if there's somebody here, somebody here. Yeah, I like that idea. There's somebody here. Somebody here. Spray painting. And how would they? It would be like that, right? Am I mistaken? Would they stand like this? And maybe there's a spotlight on them. Yeah, I like that idea. And this person could be my fox character. I was secretly thinking, how could I put my fox here? And this is obviously the way. Then we'll put right here. Is that about right? I think so. We'll make my my bear character here. Let's give him a belly. He's just, maybe he's passed out. Yeah, I like that. I feel like we're getting somewhere. Yeah. There could be a text here somewhere saying like, I knows, or something like that, which is, you know, since there's an I, like EYE. EYE knows. So it's also sort of it's also like wordplay on the sort of slang where people use the first person pronoun and then use the third person verb. Yeah, I think that's fun. So let's start color blocking. Now, one of my favorite colors, or I should say my favorite color, is yellow. But the issue with yellow is that it's really transparent. So you have to put 3, 4, 5 layers of it before it starts sort of showing on the canvas. Because the spotlight is yellow, then that would mean that the shadows are purple. But we'll get there. some point. Now you might be asking, why did I paint the background sort of light blue? And the reason for that is that the color of the background often helps with to make all the rest of the colors sort of work together. That's the first reason. But the second reason is that they also give them an additional sort of property. So even though they are hold on, my brain is not braining. Even though there is a color on the background that isn't really the final color, it still like gives it a very nice property, and it feels different. You know, if the background was, let's say, orange, the whole piece would get this warm tone. It would feel much warmer. And when I said that the background would be, or the shadows would be purple, that's an actual phenomenon in color theory, where if we look at Isaac Newton's and Goethe's color wheel, we know that the opposite color of yellow is purple, the opposite color of red is green, and so forth. And the blue it's orange. So if you have a really bright blue light, the shadow will be dark orange. It's really interesting stuff, even though, you know, I might sound like a nerd. And I want the light to come from this direction, so it also shines a little bit on our drunken guy here. I'll just mark little shadows here. This fox. You know, it also already starts to look like something. I want the I want this eye to be I want the light on this eye to be almost the opposite, so it really pops out. So instead of using, do I want it to be pink, the light on the eye? No, I want the light to be green. Yeah. So it looks a little bit like Dario Argento, who was this Italian director. Made a lot of beautiful films with a lot of beautiful colors. So I'm just mixing a quite bluish green, almost like jade, and then mixing some white in it. And at this point of the painting, we're not really looking for an end result yet. I mean, we will end this, we will bring this to to its final form today, but we're not really looking for any sort of. We can make a lot of mistakes here. Well, we can make a lot of mistakes throughout this painting, almost throughout the whole painting. And as Bob Ross said, that they are. What did he say? They're tiny little accidents or something like that. I can't remember. So you know that quote can shut itself. I'm kidding. I feel like a lot of painters secretly want to be, in a way, very similar to Bob Ross. Where they can create anything in 20 minutes and it would look beautiful. I can't do that. Not yet. Maybe one day. Then the next color would be. Right, let me clean my brush. I'm just cleaning my brush in water because that's how acrylic works. And then I'll brush them on my pants to dry them out. That's why it's good to have work clothes. They can get messy and they're supposed to get messy, so not the football player. That looks almost purple. Oh, that's okay. It's okay. Let's add a little bit more red. And that's more like it. So let's just add some shadowy bits here. And again, we're not looking for anything permanent or something that looks good for now. We're just marking out things. This is quite purpley, by the way, or actually, I should say. Actually, this is quite purpley, and I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. But that's okay. It should be more orangey. I'll put some power to my laptop because it's telling me that no, battery is low. And then after a while I'll put it back on the phone For some reason, the internet on my phone is much better than on my laptop. So I use my phone to live stream instead of um, the laptop. Now, a lot of these things that I do, they might not seem like the smartest thing, painting purple and then painting over the purple and stuff like that. And that's part of the process. It's not, part of the process isn't being stupid. But part of the process is to make marks. Now, I like the idea of there being a text that says I knows. But maybe I knows is sort of weird. I sees? Oh, that could be fun. So how would we write that? I sees. Where would that go? So it would be instead of it being sees, as in S-E-E-S, it could be S-E-A-S. And there's an area surrounding this guy, meaning that he's been there quite a long time. So this guy hasn't sprayed on him, but around him. That's fun as well. Yeah. I don't know. C's. C's. Sorry for my for me being quiet. I'm really trying to focus and trying to do this, trying to make this look as good as possible. Even though, you know, will it look good? Maybe, maybe not. And there goes an E somewhere like. There should be somewhere a ladder, maybe? How would he? No, that doesn't look good. Let's do this instead. Then just regular stuff like that. I. How would the Y look? Why? 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 Hmm. That's fun. I like it. Let's go with it. I feel like it could be sort of a cold orange. Where do we have it? It's here. Again, I'm putting some matte medium here. Oh, now it got way too red. And again, I'm not really worried about going over or under the lines. We're just making we're still just color blocking everything. Soon we'll be ready to move on to like characters, and maybe I'll start with the eye. I used to do a lot of anatomy when I was younger. Back when I was in high school, I used to do a lot of anatomy drawings, and eyes were one of my favorites. And I see often people showing, as I stated before, if you were here, I said that on Instagram Reels there's like a lot of people telling how to draw eyes, but most of the time they are bogus. I could think of a better word for it, but you know, maybe there's kids watching, and I don't wanna use profanities. So yeah, that looks neat. Still in the beginning phases of the whole process, so yeah, what color eye should we have? Let's make it green. Green is a nice color. I'm running out of yellow and like in general yellow could be a character in a film. Oh yeah, I like that. That's nice. I mean the color, not the name. General yellow. No, I don't want cadmium. I want lemon yellow. I mean, I need cadmium as well, but let's start with lemon yellow. I would be lying if I said that I like to stay organized, because you can clearly see my work surface. I'm not really that organized. I would love to be. One of my childhood friends was very organized and probably still is. They often comment on my videos and it always makes me happy. Let's get a little bit darker. Darker blue for the iris. Yeah. Yeah, this starts to look like an eye now when there's the tricolor scheme. Yeah. Very nice. So let's put some parts where the light would shine back to the camera. Let's start lighting those parts up. Right there. That part of the nose. Right here. On this edge. There would be a nice bright light. Maybe that part of the eyelid. Right there. Maybe right there. Then a dark orange. I feel like dark orange would look much better than what we had before, which was the dark red. Let's put it over here. Because eyes are quite dark at the end of the day. Much darker than we really even think. Because our brows are often, they are very much go over the eye. Maybe my coffee is already quite cold. Now the parts of the eye that would reflect back would be like the top of the brow. Maybe here. And the reflections are strange because if you have like if you have a very bright dark blue light and you reflect did I say dark blue? If you have a bright blue light, if it's reflected in the shadows, the color suddenly change just slightly, and it's a strange phenomenon that happens. Very beautiful phenomenon, but quite strange. Let's start making the eyebrows. I feel like I'm a little bit stuck on these eyes, and sometimes when that happens, it's better to just move to another part than struggle with the part that you are struggling with. So I'm just gonna do that. It sounds like a good plan to switch the scenery a little bit. Where should we go next? Let's go to this hooligan who is painting on the wall. Let's make his paint dark blue. The paint that he's using. Instead of yellow. What I'm doing now is just marking the shadows that would cast off of this guy on the wall. Very quickly, we still have a lot of painting to go. If you're thinking about painting something, and I'm not really the best person to give guidance, but if I can give you one piece of advice, it would be that mistakes will always happen, and they should be always welcomed with open arms. Yeah, I like that. So if there's a shadow, there's always a light. So now I'm just marking where the light hits this fox character. Yeah, that's fun. And there has to be some residue that hits this guy. Residue is not the right word, but who cares? Yeah. So, what should we do next? And with what brush? Let's take one of these. What brushes do I have? Ah, this is such a good middle brush that I use quite a lot, and you can see by the hairs that they are already a bit damaged. I've used this so much. Maybe I'll go one size smaller and start painting with this a little bit smaller brush. Let's start making an outline here. Put some matte medium here. Just there, a few drops. I love matte medium. But I love many things more. I like candy, for example. I do love candy. try to think of this as a graffiti, even though this is in no way set in reality. I still want there to be a sense of a causation, like something has created something, or something has had to happen for one thing to exist. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you have asked questions and I haven't seen them, that's my bad. I feel like I should see them since I'm looking at the live stream myself. Yeah, that's fun. Let's make a dollop there that would. Let's make another dollop here at this corner. Let's make it seem like it has. As if there was too much spray paint being applied there. Yeah, let's start outlining these letters as well. Maybe this artist made a slight mistake and went over the line. Then I started to pick up the... Yeah, that's really good. Even if I say so myself. It's fun to get into the headspaces of these sort of characters that are in these pieces. Like how their artistry works. So that made a mistake there, but didn't care to. No, he did. He cared to correct his mistakes. And as you can see right now, I'm holding the the brush like I would a pen, because there's so much more control that way. When you're making broad lines, I do recommend holding it like this. Sometimes this works as well. But if you ever feel pain in your wrists while painting or drawing or anything like that, I do recommend switching how you hold your brush. Do I like that? I ask that really often if I like something. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I'll come back to it later. Right now I want to go with this this sleepy guy here. Maybe I should switch to a bigger brush now, but I will. Why would I use my time to dabble with a small brush when a larger will do? Is that how his hand is? Yeah. And then the other hand goes right over here. Just like that. And this guy. Actually, maybe this guy is wearing a suit jacket. We don't know where he came from. We don't know why he's sleeping in the street, but he's wearing a very nice, very nice shirt. A very nice jacket. And suit pants as well. Or, I mean, pants mean different things. Thing in the UK than it does in the USA. So what should I say instead? Suit trousers? This hand here comes from somewhere over there. And the bottom eyes. It looks more like a frog now than it does a bear. That'll change. No worries about that. Where did my small brush go? Oh, here it is. I do like this. And I wasn't sure at first. Again, I'm going into the focus mode and trying to also be in the streamer mode at the same time. It's a difficult task to do both. I mean, there are people who do it really, really well, but maybe I just need more practice. One day I can speak and focus on what I do at the same time, but that day isn't today. Maybe this will look like it's supposed to be like this all the whole time. Yeah. It will. Don't worry about it, Elis. It's gonna be just fine. Oh yeah, this will turn out quite well. I have a lot of trust in my abilities. I have noticed that I don't really trust my abilities in many aspects of life, and but painting is one of those where I know I can do really beautiful things and bring a lot of joy to a lot of people, and to have that sort of confidence, at least in one thing in life, is something to cherish. Maybe I'm not the fastest runner, maybe I can't uh, do everything right the first time, but I can paint. And finding that sort of passion, it's special. I feel like I'm rambling like an old fool, but on the other hand, that is something that I want to become, is a rambling old person who doesn't have a backbone in his body. I feel like I do, and I'm working towards not having any backbones, but you know, it's a work in progress. I don't believe that I will achieve that sort of um, being nice to everyone in one night, or never getting upset about anything. But I do hope that is something that I would be remembered for. this right here is all the way down. There, a splatter happened here. Just an unfortunate splatter. Maybe the spray bottle exploded, for example. Let's get this guy nose right there. And some shadows. Okay. I do miss making murals. They're a lot of fun to make. Graffitis, obviously, it should be mentioned that if you make graffitis, try to make them legally, and if you're in a situation where you don't have that possibility, but still have that burn and that passion to make them, obviously stay safe, and but if you have the chance to make them legally, please do. They are a lot of fun. They cheer up the cityscape. And always with art, try to have a point that you're trying to make. With this piece, ICs, it's that the world is becoming a surveillance society. I hope that's not, maybe that's more neo-political than really political. I genuinely try to stay away from political discussion. There's already enough artists making political art. And as I said, although I have views regarding politics, I often stray away from making my views public, even in my art. What have I tried to make here? Oh yeah, now I can, now I understand, now I remember. What's the situation with my? Oh, I have good battery life, so I won't plug you guys in just yet. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of portraits. Um, as I said earlier in this live stream, like I love human anatomy, and I used to do a lot of human anatomy. What did I say? Anatomy? Anatoly? um, when I made graffitis, I used to focus on the face, and there is a video on my YouTube channel where I made a face with graffiti, and I think it turned out really, really well, even if I say so myself. But now it's sort of something that I've, left behind because not to sound like I'm bragging, but I don't really feel like there's I feel like I've already done so many faces that I have difficulties learning more. Obviously, I can always learn more, but but it felt like there was. I just had difficulties finding the freedom to express myself after the ground rules are set with how the face is constructed. And I should at some point make a video about methods how to construct the face and how they are all how none of them really matter. I mean, it's fun to have. Well, it's not fun. It's very limiting if you view constructing a face through these methods. I don't even know the names of the methods, but there are a lot of different methods to use when constructing a face, and I just can't. I feel like they limit the artist so much. So I've always strayed away from all methods. Yeah, now just this line right here. That's all we're gonna do. heavier, so it looks like that's the one that our main character here is working on. I feel like we're sort of in a good position here. Where now we can really start to focus on maybe the background. I feel like that background is already kind of okay. To really force out something. Yeah. Start going with a hand with dark purple. To really highlight the shadows. That right there is a paradox. Highlight the shadows. You can't really highlight shadows because they are the lowlights. It's been a lot of fun doing this piece with you guys. So I can already thank you for being here. It's been a lot of fun, and maybe this should be a reoccurring thing on Sundays, that I just make a piece on Sunday. That would be a lot of fun. Yes, it would. I'm starting to realize how dark the background has to be. And that's totally okay. Now let's continue with the shadows and make the bear. The bear's name, by the way, is Oddbump, and the fox is Zools, like Jules, but the hard Z. Maybe it's childish to name your characters, but I am quite childish. I am quite childish. I get frustrated quite easily. I am pretty good at hiding it though, unless it's on the basketball court. My teammates can attest to that. I get quite easily frustrated if I'm blocked or if the ball is stolen from me. It just makes me feel a little bit dumb, and maybe that's the thing that frustrates me. I feel like it's normal, so I don't feel bad about it. Now that I think about it, maybe it shouldn't be a reoccurring thing, because sometimes I have things to do on Sundays and friends to meet and stuff like that, so that would be quite limiting. They are selfish reasons, but I have yet to make serious money from this endeavor, and even though it's not the main goal to become rich, the main goal is to make a living at least. And right now that isn't happening, so maybe I shouldn't make this a thing that has to happen. just add some yellow here to show that it's bouncing from. It's bouncing off from the headlight, that is. Just like that. It looks very nice on the live stream actually. Looks very beautiful. Alright, the next part we're quite finished. And the next part I want to do is, I was thinking about it just now, but my brain went on a brain neutral position. I wanted to add more shadows here because this doesn't really look like an eye yet. Now it looks a little bit like an anime eye, which is not good. That is not what we want. Yeah, I'm starting to see it. Also, eyelashes help a lot. I'm trying to make eyes look natural. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that I should make the eyes have eyelashes. Okay. That is quite nice, even if I say so myself. I'll add a little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow. You'll get this brownish hue, and then a little bit of white. Then we'll create that, the iris. Okay. And then let's start adding the whites, the white parts that are like actually white. I feel like that's pretty good. Maybe I'll add a little bit white there, just there in that corner. Yeah, and then the eyebrows. The eyebrows are now maybe the biggest issue. Maybe I'll make them much darker and then maybe that'll solve it. That'll make them look like eyebrows. Maybe they should extend here farther. Oh, almost dropped my brush there. I, for some reason, want to add a white spot there. Even though it's, now that I think about it, it's probably should be dark. Right here. I like that. Even if it might not be correct, I like it. Now the next part is to wait for this to dry up a little bit. And give it a purple wash. Yeah. And then we'll be finished with this painting. One purple wash away. Can you see here? Where should I put this so it's easier to see? So what we will do is we'll take all this Prussian blue and put it over yonder, and then all this crimson and put it here as well. Then let's mix these together to get a nice purpley color. Maybe there was too much Prussian blue there. Maybe not. It looks pretty good. I'm not sure if that's enough. Maybe we should make a little bit more, just in case. Sorry, I bumped you. Everything's in control. Just pull it back up and then let's get the crimson. This will be way more than what I need. Then I'll just clean it off on my pants, and again I should probably say trousers, and I'll mix it up again. This is very pretty purple. And then I just add a little bit of matte medium, a little bit more than that. Maybe a little bit more than that, because we want to create a wash, and a wash can be created in many ways. One of them being with water, but as I stated, it just dilutes the paints. And as you can see, it's this is my brain is not braining since I'm doing two things at the same time. But matte medium, it works as a solvent, so it keeps sort of all the properties but makes it more you can like see through it. But also it leaves the surface as quite matte. That's where the name comes from, matte medium. And this part of the painting might ruin the whole painting. I'm prepared for that, so please be prepared for that as well. We're going to cover all of this except for this area right here with this and see what it's gonna look like. Trying to make it, trying to make this layer quite, put barely enough paint here. That's the plan. You can most likely already see where this is going, where this is taking the painting. And I'm trying to work in small sections. So I keep sort of control where I've gone and where I haven't yet. This is quite, I shouldn't say brainless, but it's, this takes a long time, so we can discuss a lot of things here right now if you want to. Like, how has your day been? Have you achieved what you set for the day? What's your plan to just relax today, or how was your day? This is one of the only things that I set my mind to do today, was to just do this painting without knowing what this painting would be. I'm pretty satisfied with it. I find this to be quite fun. Fun little painting for today. And it's sort of fun because, paintings at the end of the day, or any drawing, is just light and shadows. That's all it is. So if you learn if you learn light and shadows, then you know everything there is to know about painting, or you know all the basics if you understand light and shadow. I want to stand up for this. Not because this is like an important thing to do, just because it's easier on my hands. Not because I want to salute this end of the process, but just because I don't wanna strain my back. Oh, I'm blocking it with my palette. Sorry about that. As I expected, this isn't ruining the painting, but it's doing exactly what I wanted to do. To clearly set the boundaries for the light and the shadows. Maybe I have to do another pass, but not with purple, but with really bright yellow. That is probably something that I have to do. I'm actually thinking that I should leave the eye in the light. That looks kind of cool, I think. I feel like it does look kind of cool, so no. I will do that. And I'll add a little bit more shadow to this guy right here. Just so it looks more like he belongs. And now this shadow right here doesn't look like it belongs, so I'll put some shadow over here as well, and more shadows here. Yeah, I would just want more shadows here to this eye area to make it pop out a little bit more. Sometimes it's a lot of fun going at a painting without knowing how it's gonna turn out. That makes it so much more interesting. A little bit of white. A little bit of lemon yellow. And again, matte medium. This time let's mix them just with a brush. I again made way too much than I need, but that's okay. It happens. It happens to the best of us. Oh, that's way too much. I clean the brush and I said I cleaned the brush. Then I'll go here and paint this on. it's gonna bounce off the wall, and for example in the edge of the tail. That will happen, and there's way too much paint on the brush. And just slightly on the legs here. That's also a really fun thing to, you know, think about when you're painting is the bounce light. Like there's multiple lights, multiple light sources. I mean, there's one light source. But it's fun how light bounces off of a lot of different things. Now it's over here as well. On the bottom of the shoe, there's bounce light. That's a lot of fun. I feel like, dare I say that, I feel like we are finished with this piece. I think so. I think we have come to the end of this piece. That was so much fun, and I hope you enjoyed this as well. It only took us 2.5 hours to come to the end of this piece. I'll just make some crazy ideas still. Maybe there's bounce on this eye. Like, what the hell? Who would ever think about that? Yeah, that's fun. Some bounce on that, on the eyeball. Maybe some bounce over here. Yeah, so that means there's only one last thing to do. What? Still one thing to do? What could that be? Well, let me show you. I'll take the smallest brush I own and just the tiniest bit of blue if I have, well, I have this purple here which probably goes pretty fine with this yellow. Not really. I'll take this blue right here. Yeah. Mix it here. That's too yellow. Still too, sorry, not too yellow, too blue I meant. Still too, come on. I think that's pretty close to the right color. Maybe a little bit more yellow. So, with the smallest brush, I'll go over here and write out, and oh wow, that's so poor. You have a smaller brush? Nope, but I have. What could I use? Actually, what the hell? Let's use a pen. And it doesn't have to be yellow. I have a lot of Posca pens. Posca is the brand. It's there's a word in Finnish that sounds pretty close to it, but I'll use the pink Posca pen. Yeah, so let's just make just like that. Eliskuiti. And then I'm feeling crazy, so let's make a fox instead of the bear. That's fine. Let's look at it one more time. And tomorrow I will put some varnish on this. So I hope you enjoyed. Let's see if I'll do the same thing on next Sunday. Let's see. But thank you so much for sticking around. It was really fun to make this painting, and let's do this another time. Thank you. And bye bye.